I like the way limbs talk. There's a certain look of them that I admire. Hair talks too, and so do lips, jaw, shoulders, and everything else. I think about the way they look and trace the shape of them with my eyes. I think about touching them, but I don't, because that would ruin my imagination. I lock them into my mind, and they are mine. Do you like my eyes, my teeth? They're fine, but I don't quite like my fingers. I mean, they're in a good length, but I don't like the shape of my fingers. Also the texture, the color. Sometimes they aren't even slender enough. My fingers can be the tragic anti-heroes. Sometimes people have the right face but not the right shoulders. Their nails might look nice, but they might not match their elbows. I'm looking for the perfect limb, the perfect body. Looking, searching. And when I find it, I will stare at it, print it into my mind, lock it into the deepest fragment of my soul, so that I can trace the image over and over again, over and over again. It also happens with art, with writing. Sometimes I struggle to give my characters the proper proportions, the right ratios. I want them to have the perfect bodies and the perfect personalities. But it's hard to find perfection. That's why aliens are intriguing. They're so different that you forget what you think is beauty. They redefine perfection. This, I think, is the beauty of humanity, that moment of ideal. If only I could have it frozen in my heart and keep it forever. But my memory transforms it, making it more perfect than perfect as I let my mind fill in the blanks, my hands grasping at what is not there. The perfect limbs are avoiding me so that I don't dwell in this swollen darkness. When you claim yourself an artist, you're telling people that you have a different pair of eyes. But really, if you look closely, you will see black spots in my eye. They're birthmarks, I say when people ask. But they don't always ask. They don't always pay attention, or they don't care. There are spots all over my body that may seem like birthmarks, but they aren't always. Some of them just appeared one day and stayed there, retelling me of change. But I know which ones aren't real, because it's my body, and I know my body. I also know some of your bodies, for I have studied them over and over again. Human watching is a kind of hobby that I practice unintentionally. I mean, you see people every day, and they're all different, strange, and exotic. Sometimes I think people are watching me too, so I care more about what I do and how I look. Not that those people matter, not that they're actually watching me, but I'm watching myself, inspecting myself, recreating my own image for my future self to ponder about. There is this birthmark on the inside of my left lower arm. It has been there since forever. And when you look at my right, there's also something, but it's artificial. As a kid, I looked at my left arm, saw my birthmark, and wondered why there wasn't one on my right. I picked up my favorite pencil and started gently pressing the tip of it onto my right lower arm. Apparently, pencil was inerasable, and now it's still here. I have marked my own existence. I like it sometimes when people have birthmarks, but it also depends on where they are. It's like when you see a face, you have to place it down somewhere, this particular spot, to make it perfect. But people aren't perfect, and that's okay. Flaws are nice sometimes. They make us more real, more vulnerable. Sometimes flaws are exciting because they're different enough to be surprising, so that I can observe all of our interesting faces turning from nice and pretty into shocked and confused. My characters must be flawed to be perfect. Stories are supposed to be a bit sad or dramatic. That's how life is supposed to be like. At the end of my right eyebrow, there's a scar you can barely see. I was walking, running, hurrying and rushing to somewhere. Then I tripped. The frame of my glasses went right into my flesh just above my eye. I insisted that I had tripped over someone's foot when I could have just said I was clumsy and that it might have been my fault, instead of letting other kids to be blamed for my injury. I guess I didn't want to recognize the possibility of myself being imperfect. And now the scar is still here, sometimes itching and twitching to remind me of my own defect. Sometimes I tell people I'm from Mars, or Venus, or Jupiter. And maybe I am. You never know. I am no longer searching for what doesn't exist. I'll let the world embrace me and explore imperfection in its most elegant form, letting wind bring all of that away.